Cristiano Ronaldo has become in the space of 10 years one of the best paid sportsmen in the world, amassing a colossal fortune thanks to his huge salaries. Gifted on the field as in business, the Portuguese was able to build a real commercial empire and make his capital grow. CR7 is now the first footballer to have passed the billion-dollar mark in cumulative career earnings. So make yourself comfortable, because today, we are going to show you how you spend your money when you've become so rich. Let's get started. Before telling you about Cristiano Ronaldo's huge fortune, as well as how he spends his millions, it would be wiser to tell you about the character and his incredible journey in life. Because if today, the Portuguese star can boast of being at the head of a gigantic patrimony, his beginnings were much darker. Cristiano Ronaldo was born on February 5, 1985 in Madeira, into a large family with a modest income. His father, José Diniz Aveiro, had to work as a gardener and steward for the local club FC Andorina, where he was in charge of the equipment, while his mother, Dolores Aveiro, worked as a cook. The parents of little Cristiano Ronaldo were in such a precarious situation that the boy's mother even tried to abort him during her pregnancy. Not finding any doctor willing to risk this dangerous operation, given that the fetus was already very developed, Dolores Aveiro even tried some old grandmother's tricks. She drank boiling beer and then went running until she was exhausted. Fortunately, and despite the determination of his mother to get rid of him, little Cristiano was eventually born and opened his eyes to the world he would later conquer. The young boy will grow up practically destitute and will be deprived of many things during his childhood on the island. He spent most of his childhood playing soccer, having fallen in love with the ball because it was technically the only toy his parents could offer him. The little Ronaldo devoted himself body and soul to street soccer with his friends, playing so much that he literally wore out his shoes, and had to borrow those of his cousin or older brother every time. However, they were willing to lend them to him, because the little Ronaldo had demonstrated an undeniable talent for handling the ball very quickly. And all those who saw him dribble against opponents much bigger and older than him, were almost speechless. Having heard about his son's talent and achievements, Cristiano's father decided to take him with him to the club of which he was the steward and handyman, FC Andorina. The integration of this club would be the beginning of the young Ronaldo's career, since it was in his shirt that he played his first official match, when he was only 7 years old. It was also with this club that the future star would learn the real rules of soccer as well as discipline and organization of positions and tactics. Rules that the young boy assimilated quickly, and very easily, which allowed him to be noticed by one of the biggest clubs in Portugal and Europe, the Sporting Club of Portugal. The prestigious Lisbon-based club, very interested in the young boy's astute and promising style of play, ended up recruiting him among its young staff. The club will not pay more than €2,200 to acquire the young child, a sum that makes you smile when you know the staggering amounts of his future transfers, which will remain forever engraved in the history of soccer. Cristiano Ronaldo was only 11 years old when he arrived for the first time in Lisbon, far from any reference point and completely alone to face his destiny. Compared to the calm and peaceful life on the island, the tumult and chaos of a big city like Lisbon left no respite for the young boy, who was also separated from his family and relatives, who remained on the island. But Cristiano had a temperament of steel from very early on, and he got used to the situation soon enough. As his body grew, so did his athletic ability and footballing prowess, and so he was finally able to enter the big leagues. At the age of 16, the young player was selected to join the first team of Sporting Lisbon, after winning over his coach, Laszlo Belloni. The young teenager will play several games during the 2002-2003 season, where he will demonstrate his undeniable qualities as a technician and goal scorer, but especially his high versatility on the field. Because Cristiano Ronaldo was so active and involved on the field, he could play without problems in all positions. It was not uncommon to see him running around the pitch, sometimes in defense and sometimes in attack, until the final whistle of the referee. From this successful season, the young Cristiano Ronaldo began to interest the biggest clubs in Europe and their scouts, who knew that they had a rare pearl in soccer. AC Milan, Liverpool, Olympique Lyonnais and other giants of European and world soccer approached the young Portuguese. Even FC Barcelona sent its emissaries to sign the young Portuguese prodigy, but none of the negotiations came to fruition, because Sporting Lisbon was really not ready to part with its young colt. The Portuguese club will eventually release Cristiano in favor of Manchester United, for the staggering sum of €15 million. A beautiful irony of fate, especially when we remember that Sporting had paid only a few thousand euros to acquire Ronaldo at the time. But the amount of the cheque signed by the accountant of Manchester was justified for his coach, Alex Ferguson, as well as for the Manchester players. The latter had been captivated by the talent of the Portuguese, during a match between their team and Sporting, where Cristiano shone with his spectacular dribbles and his lightning breakthroughs. Cristiano Ronaldo joined the prestigious English club, where he was given the number 7, worn by players who had written the history of the club like Bobby Charlton, George Best, Eric Cantona and David Beckham. From there, his soccer career took off like a rocket, taking him to the firmaments of glory and success, and inscribing the legend CR7 in the history of football. The man who could not afford to buy a pair of shoes at the time, became in the space of 10 years, one of the best paid players on the planet, and one of the richest athletes in the world. Thanks to his huge salaries and his numerous advertising contracts, the Portuguese star managed to amass a colossal fortune, which he continues to increase through various projects and companies. Nobody was surprised when it was announced in June 2020 that Cristiano Ronaldo had become the first soccer player in history to become a billionaire. At the head of such a colossal fortune, and having lived much of his childhood in poverty and deprivation, one wonders how Cristiano Ronaldo spends his millions of euros. But the answer to this question is not really an arduous task, because the star of the round ball does not hesitate to display his hobbies and daily leisure on Instagram and social networks. His millions of fans can admire the ultra-luxurious life that leads their idol, as well as the many expensive passions that he accumulates. Cristiano Ronaldo is a big fan of cars and spends a lot of money to get the latest sports car. His garage is filled with the most luxurious and expensive cars, like the Bugatti, which he seems to make a collection. The Juve striker owns 2 examples of this supercar, the Veyron and the Chiron, both of which cost around 4 to 5 million euros. But all things seem to come in threes, as they say, and the Portuguese star of the game intends to put into practice this old saying. Cristiano Ronaldo will soon receive a Bugatti 110, the latest model of the prestigious French manufacturer. With a 1,600 horsepower engine that allows it to go from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.4 seconds, and allows a top speed of 380 km per hour, the Bugatti 110 is a real race car that should be driven with great care. But it is not so much its incredible performance as its price that leaves you completely stunned, because this little wonder of the road is officially the most expensive car in the world, since it costs a mere 8 million euros. It will only be released in 10 copies, including the one that will be delivered to CR7 next year, which already has a special place in his garage. However, his predilection for Bugattis does not prevent Cristiano Ronaldo from owning other brands of iconic cars, just as prestigious and expensive. Mercedes-AMG, Rolls-Royce, Porsche, or Ferrari, CR7 indeed owns the keys to some of the most beautiful cars in the world, and his collection is far from complete. In addition to his cars, the young Portuguese also has another extremely expensive passion: luxury watches. The star striker of Juve has a whole collection of them, whose total value easily exceeds 8 million euros. One can frequently find dream models on the wrists of the golden boy sportsmen, such as this superb Breguet watch with double tourbillon, which has more than 100 baguette diamonds set on the dial and the bracelet. This watch is easily worth 1 million euros, although it is not the most expensive nor the most beautiful piece in his collection, because the prolific Portuguese striker has other models even more sumptuous and that prove his immoderate attraction for the pomp and luxury. We recently saw the magnificent watch that Ronaldo wore during the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Monaco, signed by the great jeweler Franck Muller, in its Curvex Tourbillon Cintré version. This watch is a real work of art, of which only 6 have been produced worldwide, and whose price is around 1.5 million euros. CR7 can also show off his superb Hublot MP09 Tourbillon bi-axis watch, set with diamonds, sapphires and other precious stones, and which has been specially customized to be totally unique. But then again, it's not the most expensive or luxurious of these watches, because the highlight of his collection is the Planetarium Tourbillon Tri-Axial, which was seen on his wrist at the Quinas de Ouro party for the best Portuguese player. This amazing model is a sublime blend of cutting-edge technology and extremely precious materials, and is estimated to be worth almost 2.5 million euros. The taste of luxury of Cristiano is not escaped to anyone, and the terribly ostentatious attitude of the young player is for much. You only have to see the incredible residence that serves as his main house to understand how much CR7 leads a dream life. Ronaldo lives in a splendid villa built by the architect Joaquin Torres in La Finca, an exclusive community in Madrid. With a net worth of $6.2 million, this sumptuous palace includes a fully equipped home gym, an outdoor pool, as well as a cryogenic chamber that costs more than $50,000 alone. But if he feels like traveling, CR7 can move into one of his second homes that he owns in the most exclusive places on the planet. Like his superb New York apartment, located in the prestigious Trump Tower, which would have cost more than $18 million to the Juve player, CR7 will be able to use one of these 2 private planes to travel, making his trip even more comfortable and attractive. The star of the game owns a magnificent Gulfstream G650 plane, which he paid for at a cost of $65.5 million and which can travel 13,000 kilometers without refueling, and a Gulfstream G200, which he bought for $25 million. As you can see, Cristiano Ronaldo leads a dream life thanks to his money, which he spends without counting. The young Portuguese golden boy can afford to do so, given the financial success of his projects and the almost endless earnings they generate for him. What do you think of Ronaldo's success and the way he spends his fortune? Do you think it's deserved? And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss anything of our next content.